Don't worry about what other people think, other people do, other people talk behind your back about, because that is none of your business. Hello y'all, welcome back to another video dedicated to help you break out of the cycle of toxic behaviors and relationships in your personal and romantic area of your life. If you like anything personal development or healthy relationships, make sure you hit the subscribe button to join our tribe. I have a goal on hitting 10K subscribers by the end of July. I know it's a far-fetched goal, but if you know me, I always aim high. So please, 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 it would help so much if you subscribe, and it will help me expand the channel more and create better videos for y'all. But with that said, in this video, we're gonna be talking about how to stop comparing yourself to other people and learn how to be unbreakable with your confidence. If this is you and you're constantly comparing yourself, you're wondering what other people are doing, why aren't you there, I wish I had this life, and every single time someone succeeds around you, you feel bad about yourself, I hear you, I see you, and I used to be you. The sneaky thing about comparison is that it makes you feel as if there's not enough resources to go around, and you're sitting in such a lack mindset that you can't even feel confident to celebrate those around you. But that's the lie that we've been told and believed for so long, because the truth is, there isn't a lack. In fact, there is so much abundance out there if we learn how to look for it, if we learn how to align ourselves with that type of energy. And I'm gonna teach you how to do just that, so make sure you watch to the end of the video for those practical steps. But let's talk about what comparison is, where it comes from, and how it's shifting your life right now. Now, comparison isn't just about what other people have and what you don't, but it's actually about what you make the other person's success, life, wins mean about yourself. Because there's a reason why it affects you so personally, because you are taking something about their life personal. And it tends to rewire this wound of feeling as if you are not good enough. And in some cases where it's a little bit more intense, feeling as if there's something wrong with you. And these beliefs can often sound like, why am I behind? Why can't I be like them? I wish I had their life. Am I not good enough? Is there something wrong with me? Why is this not happening for me? Why is it happening for them? And even if you feel like your energy is coming from a place of admiration of, oh, they're doing so good, I wish my life was like that. Good for them, they're doing amazing. Oh, I just wish that I can also have this, this, and this. Your brain cannot distinguish the difference, and so at the end of the day, your subconscious belief is that they are above you. You're putting them on this pedestal, feeling as if they have this amazing, glorified, and wonderful life, and we, because of that, are less than. And the reason why we do this is most likely because we grew up in an environment where we learned that other people's success means that we don't have that opportunity to be also successful. Maybe we heard our parents constantly compare ourselves growing up to other people, other things, or maybe you heard your parent compare themselves to other people constantly, feeling as if because other people have things, they're also not good enough. And because of this, other people's success now means something about us, and it can show up in a variety of these wounds. Number one, other people's success makes me feel unworthy, which means that maybe you grew up learning that you had to earn things, you had to work for things, you have to make sure that you work your butt off to get the things that other people have, because if you don't, you're unworthy of that success. Which means that every single time you see other people have successful lives and you don't, that makes you feel unworthy. Number two, as I mentioned before, shame. So when other people are successful, we feel as if there is something wrong with us, because why can't we also be successful? And most of the time we have this wound if we constantly were shamed growing up, felt criticized or not good enough for what we did and who we are. Mom and dad were always embarrassed of the things that we did, always felt like they had to hide a part of our identity. And so other people being successful is painful to you because it makes you feel as if you as a person is defected. Number three, other people's success is a reminder of your emotional neglect. For those of y'all who did not grow up feeling seen, heard, and understood, feeling like you were celebrated for your wins, every single time someone else is successful, that is a reminder to you that you are still not seen, heard, and understood because you didn't win. And number four, as I mentioned before, scarcity. So every single time someone else wins, you think that there's not enough resources to go around, which means that you have a higher chance of not being successful. Now, all of these things that I mentioned are myths. They're core wounds, they are beliefs that have been implanted into us, but it does not mean that it is true. Because at the end of the day, it is actually not about you versus them. It's about you versus yourself. And I'm gonna share a perspective with you that helped me shift the way that I saw comparison and empower myself to actually take action and know that I'm in control. Now, the first thing that you need to know is that comparison is a false sense of safety. It keeps you stuck, it keeps you worried about what other people are thinking, because it allows you to justify why you're procrastinating and why you're not doing the same thing other people are doing. We spend so much energy focusing on other people, thinking that's gonna make us more successful, thinking that maybe if we guilt ourselves enough and we feel bad enough, we can figure out how to also be successful. But all of that, it's just distraction, it's just noise, and it's not something that defines who you are as a person. Because at the end of the day, other people start with different resources, different parts of their lives, and it doesn't mean that that makes you not good enough. Because if we grew up in an environment where there was a lot of emotional abuse, chaos, trying to figure out how to survive, trying to figure out how to feel emotionally safe, we are not starting from the same place as other people who already have that and already feel safe enough to explore and to get to figure out who they are and to try new hobbies and things. Maybe we are doing that in our adult lives now while other people had time to practice that in their teens. And this is not to say that life is not fair, that I should give up and I should be defeated. But no, it's to remind yourself that sometimes the people that we are comparing ourselves to is unrealistic. Of course they're going to be in a better place than you because they had more time to practice. But it doesn't mean that you won't be also good enough in your own way. It doesn't mean that you can't be successful because of consistency. It doesn't mean that things are not gonna work out for you. But it's just a reminder that we cannot compare ourselves to people that have had a stepping stool to begin with. You cannot compare yourself to people that have had years of experience. For example, if you're just starting out in social media and you're thinking about, oh my gosh, this person has 5 million followers, I wish that was me. But they've been doing this for 10 years. They put their work into it, they put their energy, their time and effort, and because of that, they have that success. So of course, your success is not gonna come like this. It's not gonna come in a day, it's not gonna come in a week. It takes time, effort, and consistency as well. But it doesn't mean that you can't get to that same place as the other person. But that's actually a good thing, that it's gonna take the time and effort and consistency. And most people see that as bad, but let me ask you this. If you had the bank account that you wish you had today, would you know how to keep it? Would you know how to continuously generate money and have a successful business? If you had the body that you wish you had today, would you know how to take care of it? Would you know how to nourish it? Would you know how to maintain this type of lifestyle and body? The work, the discipline, the time, the effort teaches you and changes your character to align with somebody that is able to maintain this type of lifestyle. It's not just hard work, it's not just, oh, I don't want to do it, but it's the recipe that you need to help you build the skills, help you build the endurance, the mindset to continue to live this lifestyle. It's about endurance. It's not about just one day having this amazing life. But if you notice, this is why so many people that win the lottery do not sustain the money. They go broke after a couple of years because they did not learn the skills to manage it. Now, I'm not saying if you win the lottery and you have a lucky break and success comes to you, that it's gonna be doomed, but it's how are we showing up and how are we learning these skills and nurturing this mindset to continue to live this life. So instead of focusing on so much of what you don't have and what they have, I want you to focus on why you are just as capable of having those things. Because as we mentioned before, a lot of the jealousy and comparison is rooted in something deeper. It's rooted in wounds that we have and traits that we desire from them. Because if we all break it down, it's traits that we desire. So if it's, oh, I wish I was just as pretty as them. Is it the trait of confidence? Is it the trait of good energy? Is it the trait of beauty? And what is it that makes you feel that you are not good enough? Is it, oh, I wish I had more money like them? Is it the trait of having security, having confidence, having boldness? What traits is related to the things that you wish you had? Because instead of focusing on the thing, the material, the result, focus on the progress that makes that thing come true. And bring it back full circle and thinking, how are you capable of embodying these traits? How are you also capable of developing these skills that other people have learned throughout the years? Because when you think from a place of, I am capable, I am also just as likely to be able to do these things. I'm not defined by my past, by my labels that I heard growing up. Then you are finally in control. And you can actually break out of that cycle of comparison because you are not stepping in from a place of disempowerment, but empowerment. But if you're thinking, what about the resources, Jeanette? If other people succeed, it must mean that I won't be able to succeed just as much. That's a lie. And I want you to think about how to shift into abundance, because lack holds you back. Lack makes you feel as if there's only so much that goes around. But if you learn how to look for that abundance, it is everywhere. If you look at the trees, look how many leaves it has. There's such an abundance of leaves, such an abundance of air, such an abundance of water flowing in the ocean, in the river, and it's free. And we've been trained to think that all of these things are not free because there is a price tag on water. There is a shortage on the amount of gasoline that we have, the amount of fresh air that we have. But if we step out of our bubble and look in a bigger picture, there is so much abundance. We've been so desensitized with social media and the amount of numbers and likes that can come up in minutes that we do not realize how big 100 people standing in a room looks like, how 500 people standing in a room, how 1,000 people standing in a room looks like. If we look at New York City alone, there is 8.4 million people living here. There is an abundance in every single corner of your life if you choose to look for it. But of course, if you choose to look otherwise, and if you choose to confirm your bias, then of course you're gonna feel stuck. One of my favorite exercises that I love to do with my clients that I first initially heard from Tony Robbins is, I want you to look around your room right now. And I want you to point out all the things that are brown. Go ahead. Now I want you to take a second to pause, and I'm going to ask you, how many things in your room did you see were white? You're probably having a hard time thinking about the white things that you saw because you're so focused on looking for the brown thing. But I know I'm talking to you through a camera right now, so I don't know if you actually looked or not, but you're probably laughing and thinking, yeah, because guess what? Our mind focuses on what we tell it to focus to. And if we're focusing on things that we don't have, that we lack, that other people have, then of course we do not even recognize what we already have. And I'm sure as you were looking for things that were brown in the room, maybe you started overcompensating and thinking about, oh, this is a little beige, but I'll just say it's brown. Because our brain looks for things to overcompensate, to fulfill our bias, to fulfill these goals that we have and that we're telling it. And so it's not about what we don't have, but it's what do we also already have. When was the last time you recognized how far you've come? When was the last time you recognized to celebrate your wins, to celebrate the things that you've accomplished so far? And if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I haven't done that. I'm so mean to myself. I always criticize. I always tell myself what I don't have, and I don't even think about what I have because I think that's not good enough. But I'm telling you this, a lot of people, they're also wishing that they had the life that you had. And it's this constant game of comparison where one person compares themselves to the next person, and it's never ending because it's not really about what you don't have, but it's about how to be grateful and present with the things that you do. Because even if you start succeeding, even if you get the things that you do have, you won't be able to have that capacity to actually see the value in it, actually be grateful for it. Because we have not practiced the muscle of gratefulness, and we think that things should just come like this, when it's going to take time, energy, effort, consistency, and your energy. But with that said, there is so much more that I could talk about with comparison, but I hope that some of these tips and practical steps that I mentioned helped you today. Book a clarity call if you want to dive more in depth and eliminate the cycle of comparison and jealousy and actually be confident in your life. But comment down below if any of these tips helped, what resonated with you, what you're struggling with, because I'd love to connect and learn more about you. But with that said, thank you for watching my video. I'll see you in the next week's video, and as always, you got this.